I'm certain this is the divine nirvana fruit. Yang Kai grinned. In this world, there are many kinds of spirit flowers and grasses, but each one that has the descriptor divine in their name is an incredible treasure. Such herbs innately gather elements of the heavenly way, which makes them extremely difficult to mature and will easily perish if certain conditions are not met. However, once one does mature, they come to possess incredible effects, whether they are swallowed directly or refined into pills. These effects are even useful to Origin Kings. Senior, we've struck it lucky. Hey, kid, it seems you know quite a bit about spirit medicines. Guizhou was in a good mood as he observed Yang Kai in surprise. I know a little something, Yang Kai chuckled. Good, there are exactly 4, so as we agreed, we'll each take 2. Guizhou said as he stretched out his hand to grab the divine nirvana fruit nearest him. Wait, Yang Kai stopped him quickly. What's wrong? Guizhou looked at him suspiciously. Senior, if you pick the divine nirvana fruit like this, there won't be any immediate problems, but if you don't preserve it properly, the medicinal efficacies will quickly pass, Yang Kai warned. Then how should they be preserved? Guizhou asked humbly. He knew that some exotic herbs needed to be preserved in special ways, otherwise, their medicinal efficacies would leak out. The divine nirvana fruit was incredibly valuable, so if its medicinal efficacies were to deteriorate due to improper storage, it would be an unacceptable loss. Listening to Yang Kai's tone, it was obvious he knew the proper preservation method though, so Guizhou did not hesitate to ask. Simple, it only needs to be stored in a metal attribute container, Yang Kai explained with a smile. Senior, look, there is a rich metal attribute aura in the area around this divine nirvana fruit. If my guess is right, down below this fruit tree, there is some kind of mineral load. If we maintain a similar environment for the picked fruits, it would be best. So that's how it is. Guizhou lightly nodded. Among the 5 elements, needing to store the picked divine nirvana fruit in a metal attribute box wasn't unreasonable, but the fruit tree itself needing to grow atop a mineral load was a bit strange. Guizhou naturally would not think too deeply about such things, though, and simply took out a dark red metal box from his space ring, turning to Yang Kai and asking, is this all right? Oh, a box made from profound red gold. Senior actually has such a treasure, of course there won't be a problem with this. Storing the divine nirvana fruit inside such a box will ensure its medicinal efficacies don't leak for 1,000 years or more. Yang Kai nodded. Good, then this old master won't delay any further. Guizhou laughed as he picked 2 divine nirvana fruits first and placed them carefully into his box for storage. Yang Kai picked the remaining 2 divine nirvana fruits, and although he did not have a treasure like Guizhou's profound red gold box, as an alchemist himself, he was naturally well prepared and had an appropriate metal attribute box to store them in. After splitting the 4 divine nirvana fruits, the 2 happily moved on, avoiding the surrounding void cracks while searching for ancient herbs inside the Medicine Valley. This Medicine Valley was enormous, so large that no one even knew its full extent, so no matter how Yang Kai and Guizhou rushed about, they never encountered anyone else. Moreover, it was extremely convenient to find spirit medicines in this kind of place because each one had an extremely high medicinal age and released a rich medicinal fragrance. As long as one followed these medicinal fragrances, they would definitely obtain something good. After half an hour, the pair followed their noses to a palm-sized flower. This flower was growing in a well-concealed crevice and was extremely difficult to spot. In fact, if it were not for it emitting such a potent medicinal fragrance, Yang Kai and Guizhou might have missed it. Demon melting iris. Upon seeing this flower, even without Yang Kai's explanation, Guizhou readily recognized it and could not help calling out in joy. It's really a melting iris. Ha ha ha, this old master's luck is too good. Congratulations, Senior. This demon melting iris seems to be at least 2,000 years old, and if it is used to refine a demon vanquishing pill, it is imaginable that Origin Kings would go to war to snatch it. Yang Kai cupped his fists with a smile. Guizhou glanced over at Yang Kai and said, good, this thing is of great use to this old master, so he will take it first. If there is anything we discover later, no matter what it is, you can freely take it. Yang boy, is that agreeable? Naturally, Yang Kai replied boldly. The primary function of the demon melting iris was to melt heart demons. When a cultivator was cultivating or trying to break through, heart demons would occasionally appear. These heart demons were negative shadows hidden in a cultivator's heart. For example, witnessing the strong bully the weak and not drawing one's sword to help may become a heart demon. Being bullied and failing to obtain justice was another way a heart demon could form. Being unable to save one's beloved woman from death could also become the source of a heart demon. Heart demons was a general term that encompassed all kinds of regrets and negative emotions that weighed on a cultivator's heart. Heart demons were extremely harmful, and while they normally did not have much impact on a cultivator's day-to-day life, as one's strength grew, the degree of danger a heart demon posed would also grow stronger, especially when one was trying to break through. During the delicate period when a cultivator was trying to reach the next realm, the power of a heart demon would be infinitely magnified, and once the cultivator failed to suppress or overcome it, the breakthrough would fail, resulting in severe backlash or possibly even a dissonance in his or her cultivation, the ultimate result of which could be death. Therefore, high-level cultivators would generally make many preparations before attempting to break through, especially when it came to preventing or resolving heart demons. The easiest way to do this was to take certain types of pills. The demon vanquishing pill, refined from a demon melting iris, was the best spirit pill to suppress heart demons. Even if the demon melting iris weren't refined into a pill, just consuming one of its petals during a breakthrough would have a miraculous effect. Guizhou was now a second-order origin king, but if he wanted to break through to the third order, there would be many difficulties. Guizhou's life was filled with tragedies, and he had yet to obtain the vengeance he sought, so the power of his heart demons would not be small. In this world, only the demon melting iris could suppress such a powerful heart demon. That is why he made such a proposal. Yang Kai certainly would not refuse. Guizhou treated the demon melting iris like a supreme treasure, but Yang Kai didn't actually care much about it. High Heaven Sect's Rising Dragon Hall had the precious 10,000-year incense which could also resolve heart demons, and its effects were even stronger than the demon vanquishing pill. In other words, this demon melting iris was useless to Yang Kai. This old master won't forget the favor, Guizhou said solemnly before collecting the demon melting iris. During the harvesting process, he also consulted Yang Kai about whether it needed to be preserved in a special way. After obtaining the appropriate information, the demon melting iris quickly entered Guizhou's pocket. After Guizhou collected the demon melting iris, Yang Kai, who had been standing next to him, suddenly frowned, and asked in a low voice, "Senior, do you hear something?" Guizhou was startled and quickly perked up his ears. A moment later, both his and Yang Kai's expressions changed drastically as they called out in alarm, "This is bad, the seven-colored radiant light." Who? The exhaling sound came from somewhere far away, and along with it, the Medicine Valley began to tremble slightly. Looking towards the source of the vibrations, a seven-colored light came crashing forward like a great tide. "Where's the nearest void crack?" Guizhou immediately looked at Yang Kai and asked nervously. There were countless void cracks nearby, but none of them were visible, so Guizhou could only pin his hopes on Yang Kai. The seven-colored radiant light was an innate ability of the seven-colored radiant peacock divine bird, and was capable of rapidly disintegrating both a cultivator's body and soul while ignoring any kind of defense. Even Guizhou had no confidence he could resist the seven-colored radiant light. The only way to survive was to hide behind one of the void cracks nearby. Here, Yang Kai did not become flustered though and simply pointed towards a certain direction with confidence while rushing off. Guizhou's figure flickered and followed close behind. A moment later, the pair stood in a certain spot mid-air. "Is there really a void crack here?" Guizhou looked around as he watched the seven-colored radiant light diffuse towards them from the depths of the Medicine Valley. This tide was about to cover the spot they were standing in, so he could not help feeling a little panicked. Of course, Yang Kai smiled lightly and gestured, "Senior doesn't need to be so nervous. This junior would not play tricks with his life. This void crack is both tall and long." Seeing him speak with such confidence, Guizhou relaxed somewhat. Soon, the seven-colored radiant light swept past them. Even with Yang Kai's assurances, Guizhou still leaked cold sweat as he watched the terrifying light flow over them. Since breaking through to the Origin King realm, he had not experienced such palpable fear. Silence reigned. The seven-colored radiant light swept over the location where the two stood as it continued to fill up the entire Medicine Valley at a rapid pace. Yet where Yang Kai and Guizhou stood, there was a 10-meter-long patch that was not filled with seven-colored radiant light. The terrifying light in front of this narrow strip seemed to have flown into some kind of bottomless abyss, disappearing entirely while leaving a safe place behind. Guizhou finally let out a sigh of relief. Yang Kai was right, there was indeed a void crack here, but Guizhou was unable to sense it even though he was standing right beside it. However, now that the seven-colored radiant light was outlining its existence, Guizhou could see that its size and shape were just as Yang Kai had described earlier. Looking at Yang Kai beside him, Guizhou's eyes flashed a complicated light. He too had studied the Tao of space and understood just how difficult it was to cultivate this esoteric Tao. He had been trapped on that floating continent for 2,000 years yet barely scratched the surface, while Yang Kai had such profound achievements in this domain, making Guizhou feel like his aptitude was simply unsightly. What's more, when he met Yang Kai some 30 years ago, this boy was only a first-order saint, but he was now a third-order origin returning realm cultivator. This boy's cultivation speed was simply too fast, quite likely faster than anyone in the entire star field. This kid would definitely become the most dazzling star in the star field's future, Guizhou thought in his heart.